I'm Stephen Hicks. My guest today is Marsha Enright, who is an expert in Socratic seminars. Marsha this semester has been working with me in my Philosophy of Education course, and we've dedicated a significant portion of the course to experimenting with Socratic seminars. What is a Socratic seminar? Start with the basic question.
Well, the phrase is used variously. In our case, it means a specific form of discussion which has very particular rules by which you discuss a text or a work. It could be an artwork or a piece of music or something like that, in which the text or work is considered the facts or the truth that you are trying to explore, the ideas you're trying to explore, and everyone is an equal partner in trying to discern that. But they have to use facts and reason in order to come to their conclusions.
Mm-hmm. There's a method of analyzing texts, mm-hmm. right, or other media in a social setting, slightly formalized, right, in a scientific fashion. The name Socratic seminar makes us think of the historical Socrates. Is there a connection to the historical Socrates?
Yeah, well, Socrates was famous, at least through Plato's dialogues, for getting people to think about facts and about ideas in a new way by asking questions. Mm-hmm. And one of the main ways in which we proceed in a Socratic seminar is to ask questions of the text. What does the author mean when he says this or that? Mm-hmm. What does the author imply when she says this? How is that connected to this? All the participants are trying to ask questions about the text.
Mm-hmm. All right, but then as you mentioned, the word is used variously, has evolved rather, since Socrates 2,400 years ago. So in a contemporary Socratic seminar, such as you would do, how does the typical class proceed?
All of the participants sit in a circle. That's to imply their equal partnership in trying to discover the truth from the text. The teacher is not considered the expert in what the text or the work is saying, but the teacher is the expert guide. All of them are presumed to have read it and usually start out the discussion by asking a question. People are supposed to bring questions to the discussion about, well, what does the writer mean here, or what does that imply there, and the conversation proceeds from that.
Okay. What if you have, as often happens, a disagreement about what the author is saying among the students, or if the teacher facilitator disagrees with the interpretation as being proper, what happens?
Well, anybody in the discussion, if they disagree, what they would have to do is point to things that the author said in the text, which counters whatever conclusion the other person is saying, mm-hmm. and the arguer would have to show the implications or the reasons for that.
Okay. Why do you think it's important to proceed in this manner? You've mentioned a couple of things here. Students are more or less equal. You're asking questions of the text. The teacher is not a presumed expert with all of the answers, more of a facilitator. Why emphasize those traits? What's the importance of those?
Well, one of the big advantages of Socratic seminars is that it highly develops the participants' ability to reason and to come to conclusions for themselves and to learn about almost anything. Okay. So what the students the participants in this seminar have to take responsibility for trying to understand the text themselves instead of relying on what somebody else is saying, okay, or some expert tells them. So this is a tremendous skill, a kind of skill for going out into the world when you're on your own and trying to learn something or decide what's true or false.
Okay. A couple of challenges. You mentioned students are expected to be responsible for having done the reading and then actively participating. Mm-hmm. College professors are constantly bemoaning students who don't do the reading, and if they've done the reading or in class, they don't participate. Mm-hmm. What about students who are a little more passive? How is that handled in a Socratic seminar?
Well, for one thing, what happens is students that might be passive or shy, since you develop after a while a very trusting relationship with each other because you're not attacking each other, you're not harshly disagreeing, you're really focusing on what the facts are and trying to reason together about what conclusions you should come to. So that puts people more at ease. In Socratic seminars, generally, what you try to do is have an ongoing relationship with all the people in the group so that you can develop this kind of trust. There's also some other things you can do to encourage the less outspoken, and that is you can do inner circle, outer circle work, or you can break the group up into smaller groups and just discuss in a small 3 or 4 person group. The ideal size for Socratic seminar is something like 10 to 15 people. You don't want to get it too much over that, because otherwise it's too many people participating.
Okay, the conversation can't keep a focus.
Yeah, it's hard.
Another challenge I can see, though, is on the teacher's side. Traditionally trained teachers are used to being the experts to do the lectures and to have the proper interpretation, right, so to speak. How do teachers deal with the challenge of wanting to correct or take a disproportionate amount of the time in the class and so forth?
It can be very difficult for a teacher that's used to teaching in a traditional way. One of the things that helps is that if you have a teacher whose expertise is not in the subject that you're discussing, because then it's not as easy for them to hold forth as an expert in that topic. But pretty much they have to teach with their mouth shut.
Okay. So if you bring teachers in who are not experts in that particular thing, they would be running along with the students.
Exactly.
And so, and so forth. Now, you mentioned ideal class size of 10 to 15. Can it work with smaller numbers of students?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Okay, absolutely. So what would you say the primary goals are that we're trying to achieve with this method, Socratic seminars?
Well, number one is you're trying to develop the students, foster the students' active participation in their learning, their ability to reason from the facts and from ideas to a conclusion accurately and logically, their ability to work with other people. I mean, this is one of the advantages of Socratic seminar, is that you learn how to be like a team and discovering what the truth is. And also develop their knowledge, of course. This is one of the reasons why you want to use really excellent texts, because there's a lot of important ideas and facts to learn, and because those writers have the best kinds of thinking. So the students are learning from their thinking also.
So we have 4 goals: active participation, reasoning, right, and analytical skills, social participation, and then acquiring lots and lots of knowledge.
Right.
How do we assess in Socratic seminar classes how well students are doing it? What formal or informal evaluation techniques would be appropriate?
Well, the faculty that are involved in the seminar generally have a good idea of which students actually know. After hearing people discuss things, they have a pretty good idea of knowing what the students actually know about the text, which ones have read it, which ones really understand it, and which ones don't. Generally, in a class like this, you do have some writing assignments. So that's another thing that would help with this kind of situation. And then you use measures such as how much has the person participated, how thoughtfully have they participated, are they trying to dig into the text, are they asking questions of the text, are they following the principles? So you use all those criteria to rate how the student is doing. I also think that self-evaluation is a good tool to use, so that the student has to reflect on their own participation.
Okay. I think of Socratic seminars more broadly. There are colleges and classes that can rely upon them heavily. How do we assess the effectiveness of Socratic seminar as a teaching technique in comparison, say, to traditional lectures, right, or laboratory classes, right, or whatever? Are there formal studies? Are there anecdotal pieces of data that we can use to gauge the effectiveness here?
Well, one of the leading experts on Socratic seminar, a man named Michael Strong, who has written a book, The Habit of Thought, a very excellent book about Socratic seminars. He started 5 high schools using Socratic seminars, and what he did was give the high school students a standardized cognitive skills test at the beginning of the year, after 4 months, and then at the end of the year. And he had remarkable development in terms of their cognitive skills. Even one of the high schools he started was a upper middle class Montessori high school, and even those students got between 10 and 20% increase in their cognitive skills. Some of it was remarkable, though. He taught in an inner city school. He had, for example, a student who started in the first percentile of cognitive skills, and after 4 months, she was at the 85th percentile. I think if you gave students SAT tests or any other kind of achievement tests after they've gone through a program like this, you'd also see that their knowledge about the subject matter is greatly increased also.
You mentioned Michael Strong in his book, The Habit of Thought, which is very good.
Mm-hmm.
What other sources would you recommend for those who want to follow up and learn more about Socratic seminars?
Sure. Well, there's a number of books that you can get. There's one called Socratic Circles by a man named Matt Copeland. There's a one called Teaching with Your Mouth Shut by a professor named Don Finkelstein. And there's also videos online. Michael Strong has some videos online talking about it, and a few other people. And I know that you can see videos of actual Socratic seminars transpiring.
Maybe just check that into your search engine.
Yeah.
Something should come up. All right. Well, very informative.
Thank you.
Thank you much.